Okay, I'm feeling really good about how we've cleaned up our project. Let's continue in that spirit by adding a container tag here that kind of wraps up our entire project. So I'm going to define a new tag called Dopamina Box, because that's the name we're using for this app that we're building. It's called the Dopamina Box. And inside of there, I'm going to have habit-group. And what I'm going to do is replace this habit group with Dopamina Box. But I deleted all the data that we were using that needs to be passed into habit group. So I'm going to make a prop here, prop habits equals, and I've just pasted in that same array. And then I'll make sure that I pass that down into here, habits equals habits. And I'm going to delete some of these items off of here. I'm going to make this a bit shorter, because ultimately we're not going to want to hard code any habits in here. We're going to have those all be provided by the user. But for now, we'll just keep this one. Okay, so now we have this container tag, Dopamina Box, and the point of this is to allow us to add other aspects of our app inside of this one container. Not everything has to live inside of habit group. In fact, I think these complete all and reset all buttons that are hanging out here aren't really part of habit group. Habit group should maybe be everything inside of this white box, and these are some extra controls that are separate from that. And it would be nice if those lived right here below habit group at this top level Dopamina Box tag. So I'd like to give you the challenge of trying to extract those controls from the habit group file and bring them here into the Dopamina Box tag. Okay, so I've written out the steps that you'll need to take in order to bring these controls into the Dopamina Box tag from the habit group tag. First, you're going to go into the habit group file and find the HTML for these controls. There's a div with these two controls in it. Bring that whole div over and paste it in here below habit group. Then go back to the habit group file and find the corresponding CSS for these controls and paste that inside our Dopamina Box tag definition somewhere here. Then the two buttons that we're bringing over each reference a method on habit group. So go into habit group, copy those two methods, delete them out of habit group, and paste them also into here on the Dopamina Box tag. Give that a try, save it, see if everything still runs, and then I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so first we want to bring the HTML for those controls over. Let's go into habit group, and if we scroll down, we find those controls here inside of a div. So I'll select all of that, cut it, come back to index, and paste that in below habit group. If I save, I can see the buttons, but there's no styling. So let's go find that styling. If I go back to habit group, go up to the top, we've got a little CSS declaration here that's for div.controls. So I'll cut that, come back here, and paste it in. Now if I save, the styling is working, that's great. And the last thing I need to do is bring these methods. So these buttons call these methods complete all and reset all, which aren't defined here. So let's go into habit group, copy those methods out, come back to index, and we can paste them right here in our Dopamina Box tag definition. Okay, now if I save, I just want to make sure that this works. So if I reset or click complete all, that works. Great. Now this makes a little more sense because these controls are now separated from this list of habits, and we could move them on top or below, or we could put other stuff in between, and we will be doing some things like that. And the habit group tag now has an even more narrowly defined purpose, which is always nice when the components of your application have a narrow, specific focus, and they become easy to understand.